The Israel-Iran conflict isn't just another chapter in Middle East turmoil, it's the beating heart of regional tension. Since Iran's 1979 Islamic Revolution, its leaders have branded Israel not just as a rival, but as an enemy to be erased from the map. To Israel, this isn't just hostile rhetoric, it's an existential threat. On one side, you've got Israel, a Jewish democracy, fiercely protective of its existence, constantly scanning the horizon for threats. On the other, Iran, a Shia Islamic republic, championing the Palestinian cause, calling itself the spearhead of resistance against what it sees as Western imperialism. These aren't just two countries at odds, they're locked in a fundamental ideological and religious clash. But what really escalates things is Iran's Ring of Fire. Over decades, Iran has built a vast web of proxy forces, Hezbollah in Lebanon, with over 100,000 rockets pointed straight at Israeli cities, Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Gaza, and a network of Shia militias stretching from Syria to Iraq. Through these groups, Iran isn't just talking about opposition, it's actively surrounding Israel, tightening the noose. Israel's answer? The so-called shadow war. Hundreds of airstrikes, mostly in Syria, aimed at disrupting weapons convoys, taking out Iranian commanders, and stopping Iran from building up military strongholds close to Israeli borders. Most of these hits never make headlines. But every strike, every drone, every covert op brings the region closer to the brink. Things changed dramatically after October 7, 2023, when Hamas launched a brutal attack, killing over 1,000 Israelis. Israel's tolerance for risk shattered overnight. The shadow war broke into the open. For the first time ever, Israel and Iran traded direct missile and drone strikes in 2024. Iran launched over 180 ballistic missiles at Israel. In return, Israel hit back with surgical strikes in Tehran, even taking out Iranian fighter jets on the ground. Meanwhile, the northern border exploded. Israel's Operation Northern Arrows in September 2024 crippled Hezbollah's communications and killed its leader, sparking violence that left hundreds dead and tens of thousands displaced on both sides of the border. The escalation is relentless, with each round of violence pushing both countries further down a dangerous path. Behind the scenes, intelligence agencies are in overdrive, cyber attacks, leaks, and sabotage targeting everything from nuclear facilities to scientific labs. The US tries to mediate, but solutions remain elusive. And the nuclear question, the ultimate red line, looms over everything, with Israel vowing never to let Iran go nuclear, and Iran refusing to back down. So, what's next? The Israel-Iran rivalry isn't just about missiles or ideology, it's about survival, identity, and the future of the Middle East. And as long as these two powers remain locked in their deadly embrace, the region will stay on a knife's edge.
I'm sure you've heard the news. Iran's nuclear program is back in the spotlight. But beneath the headlines, there's a secret war raging, one that's digital, deadly, and dangerously close to boiling over. Here's what you need to know. Iran insists its nuclear program is peaceful, but Israel calls their bluff, convinced Tehran's real goal is a nuclear bomb. For Israel, the stakes couldn't be higher. A nuclear-armed Iran, that's a red line, and they'll cross any border, real or virtual, to stop it. That's why Israel allegedly launched sabotage campaigns, like the infamous Stuxnet cyber attack, and the dramatic Mossad operation stealing secret nuclear files right from Tehran. When the US pulled out of the Iran nuclear deal in 2018, Israel cheered, but Iran hit the accelerator on its program. This conflict is no longer just about missiles. It's cyber attacks on water supplies and oil exports. It's assassinations and espionage, and each move is risky. Each counter-move, even riskier. In this shadow war, every click, every code, every secret could change the future of the entire Middle East. Stay tuned.
In recent years, the conflict has escalated significantly. The 2023 Hamas-Israel war, in which Iran was accused of backing Hamas, triggered responses from Iran-backed militias across the region. Then in April 2024, Iran for the first time directly launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Israel in retaliation for the killing of an Iranian general in Damascus, an attack blamed on Israel. Although Israel, with US and allied support, intercepted most of the projectiles, the move marked a dangerous new chapter. It signaled that Iran was willing to escalate into open warfare, raising fears of a regional war involving the US, Arab states, and possibly Russia. At the same time, diplomatic shifts such as the Abraham Accords, where Arab states like the UAE and Bahrain normalized relations with Israel, have isolated Iran further, pushing it closer to China and Russia. The Israel-Iran conflict today is not just a regional issue. It is a global flashpoint with the potential to ignite a much larger war if diplomacy and deterrence fail. So as of now, the Israel-Iran conflict has reached a highly volatile stage, with both nations engaging in direct and indirect confrontations that, honestly, risk escalating into a full-scale war. Back in April 2024, for the first time ever, Iran launched a massive wave of drones and missiles directly at Israel in retaliation for an airstrike, believed to be carried out by Israel, that killed a top Iranian general in Syria. Although Israel, with the help of the United States and European allies, managed to intercept most of the projectiles using its Iron Dome and other advanced defense systems, the attack really marked a historic escalation, shifting the conflict from proxy-based warfare to direct engagement. Meanwhile, Iran continues to support groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, and other militias, which, frequently launch rockets and attacks against Israel from Lebanon, Gaza, and Syria. The Israeli military has responded with aggressive airstrikes in Lebanon and Syria to prevent the buildup of Iranian weapons. In the background, fears are definitely growing over Iran's advancing nuclear program, which Israeli leaders warn is, approaching weapons capability. Both countries are also locked in a cyber war, targeting each other's infrastructure and defense systems. With the United States and Iran also clashing in Iraq and the Red Sea, and Arab nations like Saudi Arabia watching closely, the region stands on edge. One wrong move could trigger a wider Middle Eastern war with global consequences.